Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's the Casual Hoy here. Today we're celebrating National Boss Day. The World of Warcraft is filled with fun boss fights. It's filled with some hard boss fights. And certainly it's filled with some unique boss fights. In honor of those bosses that they just make you want to pull your hair out in frustration, and for those we'd love to celebrate Brewfest with. This is a list of some of the most memorable dungeon boss fights from the history of the game. I tried to follow no particular order here, and I did include a boss from every expansion of the game for a little variety. All of the bosses featured on this list, they hold a special place in my heart. But what about you? Let me know in the comments what boss fights still bring you back to when you were a noob. First starting off in the World of Azeroth. The first boss that we're going to have on the list is Roll Tall. He is a giant fire elemental that is blocking a bridge located in Bloodmaw Slag Mines of the Warlords of Draenor expansion. I mean, just look at this fight. There's giant fireballs that he's sending at you, that you have to then look out for as they return from the opposite direction. Throughout the fight, he's going to create these pockets of fire that you have to avoid. And he's also got a powerful fire pushback attack. It can be a little tricky avoiding all of these mechanics during your first playthrough, but boy is it fun to do. You'll always remember the first time you come in here and you see these gigantic boulders coming right at you. Watch out! They do a large amount of damage, and they'll stun you if they do manage to run you over. Remember to run into the heat wave to escape the fiery death at the other end of the bridge. And please do your healer a favor and don't stand in the fire. The coin-operated crowd pummeller is a machine, and I'm convinced it was designed to fight off rowdy soccer hooligans. It's the first boss in the Motherlode dungeon in Battle for Azeroth. It has a few different attacks. Standard knockback that'll hit everybody in the party. Shocking Grasp will shoot a quick bolt of lightning in front of him. It stuns anybody hit by it. Most fun, though, are these soccer balls that he ejects into the circular arena. Run up to the balls, kick them back at him, you'll do a burst of damage. If you let the countdown expire, however, they'll explode and hit everybody in your party. It's a pretty fun fight, and it's part of a very great overall dungeon. Godzilla is a copyright-friendly giant reptilian menace who is summoned in Zul'Farrak of classic World of Warcraft. Ring the large gong located by this seemingly calm pool. He has a couple of attacks that can be quite devastating. There's his freeze attack that stuns somebody in place for 6 seconds, dealing damage with each second they're entombed in this ice. He also has a launch attack that will knock multiple members of your party high up into the air. Healers, make sure to watch who's targeted by this attack, as they can take heavy fall damage once they hit Godzilla is a fun boss. It's not overly difficult, but he is well remembered by classic players in particular for being involved in a useful quest line. The ultimate reward? A carrot on a stick. A flavorful and practical early trinket. Around the corner there, that's where all the glut is. And to put it simply, he's a pig demon from your worst nightmare. He's a boss. He's from the still current expansion, Battle for Azeroth, in the spooktacular Waycrest Manor dungeon. Clearing the room can be difficult in itself, as a lot of the trash here is located very close together. It can easily be pulled along with the boss. Once you engage him, he's going to create these pools of green disease on the floorboards. They're going to spawn green goos themselves that everyone has to fight. He's an attack called Tenderize. Shoots that beam of disease right in front of him. It's got to be dodged. He can also summon undead servants from all corners of the room. Slowly walk towards him. This group was pretty good. We killed him pretty fast. But even in death, he remains horrifying. The cloud of flies swarming his body. It ain't a pretty sight. It's definitely memorable. Novos the Summoner is an undead lich, sealing the path forward of Drak'Tharan Keep during the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. There's a lot to this fight. More than a mere boss fight in an early Lich King dungeon. Up there, at the top of the staircase, there's going to be a never-ending swarm of undead minions that will slowly descend to the floor below. Usually, you want to have maybe at least one member of your party stationed up top. They can intercept and attack as they come down. In the meantime, Novos himself, well, he's protected from all incoming damage. In order to break this shield, you must kill the 4 crystal handlers who enter the room through the side entrances, one by one. Once they are all down, the boss will drop his shield, and the real fight will begin. Once Novos activates, he will cast Frostbolt spells on random party members, and he will create blizzard showers. Please do not stand in the blizzard showers. Those undead minions, yeah, they will continue to spawn at the top of the stairs. Everyone should still remain focused on finishing off the boss. Harbinger Skyrise is the final boss of the Alcatraz prison dungeon in the first expansion, The Burning Crusade. He's a bit of a strange creature from some other dimension who probably should have remained locked in his cell. It's a pretty tough and a cool boss fight. But he's not exactly the reason the fight is so memorable. Most people will remember this fight for the little gnome who accompanies you, Middlehouse Manastorm. He is a popular World of Warcraft side character, who also happened to be imprisoned in Arcatraz. His crimes were never revealed to the player. Granted, the boss does have some creative attacks that he utilizes during the encounter. He can cast spells, he'll charm various members of your party, fear them. You can stun people or crowd control them, and they won't cause you much trouble. Most notably, he will create copies of himself. The copies won't do anything but melee attacks, so they're not much of a threat. Putting a skull on top of the main boss will let you keep track of the real one to concentrate your attacks on. Really, this fight's all about class. He's everyone's gnome bro, despite the one or two times he's tried to kill you. Jin the Weapon Master is the final boss of the Moko-shun Palace in the Mists of Pandaria expansion. He is a cowardly Mogu ruler who hides in the throne room of his grandiose palace. He will taunt you and his own followers throughout the dungeon. The voice acting is actually hilarious and includes some of my favorite lines of the expansion. But there is nothing funny about the fight itself. Jankamon here, he's trying to pull to the opposite side of his throne room in order to keep the rest of the party safe during the fight. Jin will activate a series of traps that will begin to engulf the entire room. You can see them beginning to accumulate as I try to pull him to the safest spot, right up against the exit door. I know it doesn't look very cinematic, but it's easiest for everyone if I can keep him cornered. You can see in the background all of the traps that need to be avoided. The axes, the arrows, all the swords, they're flying everywhere. There's continuous damage to everyone throughout the fight, even if you don't get hit by a single thing. He is a very powerful cone attack that also knocks everyone it hits up into the air. The whole fight is a test for healers because of the constant damage, even when you employ a strategy that minimizes the damage taken and movement for the whole party. At intervals in the fight, he will roar and the damage will increase. Continue to dodge every attack he throws at you, pray your healer doesn't run out of mana, and drop him to the floor at the feet of his own throne. The God King Scoville is a jealous Vrykul who has followed our heroes as they clear the halls of valor during the Legion expansion. He believes himself the rightful owner of the Aegis of Agrimar, one of the mighty pillars of creation, sought by our heroes during the expansion to fight off the incoming Legion invasion. He was a menace during your journey through the Stormheim Zone, taunting your efforts at every turn. After a short roleplay to begin the fight, he will launch his final attacks at your party. Scoville will charge random party members, perform a spinning attack. He creates pools of fire that green elementals will erupt from. Most importantly, though, is his Ragnarok ability. For those those unfamiliar with mythology, Ragnarok would be the end of the world. The heroes must grab the Aegis and use it themselves. For anyone caught outside of its magical protection will take heavy damage. Azrak. He's an earth elemental. He's from the Stone Core dungeon. He was available during the Cataclysm. And he will break you. If you're a melee who has never done this fight before, be prepared. For he has an instant kill mechanic that still does the job to this day. He also has a ground slam attack, does a whole lot of damage. Hopefully your tank can position him so this attack won't target the rest of the group. He will periodically gain the Elementium Bulwark or Reflect stats, causing all spells to bounce back to their original casters. This used to be a part of another mechanic, where the entire party would be stunned. Thankfully, this was removed some time ago. As exciting as these abilities are, they are nothing compared to Shatter. If you are in range of Shatter, you need to watch out. Because as one of my teammates has demonstrated, you can be killed swiftly with a single swipe of Shatter. And he uses this attack very often during the fight. If there is even a pixel inside of that circle, you will regret it. You can never forget your first dance with Ozzy. And yet, despite how daunting these mechanics may seem, it's still an incredible fight. Finally, we have arrived at our ultimate spot on our list. There are multiple bosses working. The gold standard for WoW dungeons, however, remains Blackrock Depths. And there's hardly a greater example of its charm than the Grim Guzzler, a working bar located near the middle of the dungeon. All of the NPCs in the bar are friendly. Some of them offer quests and can sell you items. Our unique boss here is Plugger Spazrain, the leper gnome bartender. He has a fiery mustache to match his outfit. His inventory offers a few different beers, some pub food, a couple of exotic profession recipes. There is a strict no brawling rule on the books in the bar, however. So don't you dare go starting a fight by trying to spell steal anything. Great! Now you've gone and done it, Sabub. They're all attacking you now. Come on, guys. I was only trying to explain just everything about... You guys, better knock it off. Don't you upset a fire mage. Here it comes! Interrupted! Oh, you guys are gonna taste my fireball now. Kaboom! Oh, that feels good. Uh-oh. I may have made a tiny mistake. Yeah. Let me clean this up. I'll get right back to